Hi again, everyone. Thanks for coming. It's a good turnout so far. I'm just going to give everyone another minute or so to file in, and then we should be good to go. Just 30 more seconds and we'll get the ball rolling. Wonderful. Well, great turnout. Thank you again for everyone coming. Hello, welcome to the introductory series for the Anker SOLIX X1. Here we're designed to give you a clear understanding of how the X1 can give you an advantage and help you achieve that business growth that we're all looking for. This is a 30-minute series of sessions that we are aware that everyone's got limited time, so we'll try and keep it quick. Today, we're looking to cover everything to do with AC coupled versus hybrid. And to maintain the focus in the sessions, I'm conscious that we want to make sure that the focus is there. So I've disabled the chat function, but you can ask questions in the chat, and we will be able to answer them at the end of the session. I do have a team online that can help me answer some of those questions as we're going, and hopefully I'll cover off some of those answers that you're looking for throughout the session today. So while we're here, let's get into this. Let me just share my screen. Excellent. So AC coupled versus hybrid tech breakdown, something that we're all quite keen to understand moving forward. Now, as we all know, Australia is about to experience quite a significant boost in battery attachment numbers, but this is a snapshot of Australia's market last year. And you can see there, New South Wales had that little bit of a dip from Q4 in 2021 to Q2, and then has really taken off from there. Battery sales are now at a 20% attachment rate nationwide. Um, but we all know with the federal rebate coming as of the 1st of July that we should see a pretty significant jump up. And in a lot of cases, ROI is going to perform better across the board with a battery than without. I think the days of doing the solar only install are getting numbered. Not that they're not going to happen, but if you're going to do solar on a new home, might as well do a battery to get the ball rolling. Um, and when you're doing that battery, let's do an anchor. We've got the hybrid three-phase, the hybrid single-phase, and the AC coupled. So we really do sit nicely across the product ranges that you'll be looking at for your customers. In the different modules, so we've got the AC coupled. So that works, as you would all know, alongside the system you have already installed. That current version is a 6 kilowatt. We do have a 5 kilowatt version on the way, and that's going to take over the 6 kilowatt in Australia in the second half of this year. You can put one AC coupled system on per home, and that can stack up to 30 kilowatt hours of power. We have the 5 and the 6 kilowatt single phase hybrids. So that's obviously when you have the panels running directly into that inverter, um, you can 200% the solar on those systems. So if you're installing the 5 kilowatt at a new home in Western Sydney, um, you'd be able to install up to 10 kilowatts worth of panels, with up to 30 kilowatts or kilowatt hours of solar per power module. So lots of flexibility for your customers there. And by the end of this year, you'll be able to parallel up to 3 single phase hybrids on the same home. So again, lots of possibilities there, lots of flexibility for customers. And that gets us to the 3 phase hybrid system, which comes in the 5 kilowatt, 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, and 12 kilowatt. Um, so again, flexibility and size there. You can 200% the solar on those 3 phase systems as well. So in a 12 kilowatt system, you could do 24 kilowatts of panels, really maximizing the STCs. And when you look at paralleling a system, you could parallel up to 6 of them with 180 kilowatt hours of storage, which would be pretty big install, and I'd love to see someone do one. So if anyone's got one in the works, please do let me know. But it does enable a lot of flexibility there. Now, on the other side of the market with the AC coupled, you can also AC couple our hybrid inverters. So if the customer has a system that's already there, they've got a little bit more roof space, or they have an inverter that is key to the performance of the system that is installed, like they already have DC optimizers or something along those lines, you could use the hybrid, AC couple it to the panels that are already there, and then run a second string into the hybrid system itself, enabling a lot of flexibility, claim a bit more on the STCs, and have a battery all set up and running on the same site. That's possible across both single and 3 phase. So the AC coupled allows you to retain the solar system that's already there and allows you to add a battery. That's, there are nearly 4 million rooftops with solar installations in Australia as it is today, the middle of 2025. There are 250,000 or so batteries installed in Australia right now. There's a lot of customers that have walked halfway down the path, and this AC coupled module is going to do the best job for them to walk the rest of the way. There's no need to install any panels on the roof, so you're able to get it in and done faster, and it won't be affected by your network scheduling or anything like that. So there's heaps of compatibility with the AC coupled because it sits there like a wicket keeper between your home and the grid, and it essentially captures all that excess power that would otherwise be going to the grid and getting pennies on the dollar for it. The hybrid is the all-in-one. As we all know, it allows you to do everything and have that nice, clean aesthetic that the Anker SOLIX battery is really shooting for, and give that customer a really appealing package. We do have compatibility with those third-party inverters, as I said earlier, so we can AC couple the hybrids, and it does give you a lot of options for those customers. And here's a wider look at those options. So the AC coupled and how it would work, and the way the products stack across the bottom there. So I'll just chat about those quite briefly. What you're going to see the difference there is that the power modules are all slightly different sizes and have a slight different design to them. But essentially they all remain the same. The battery itself is exactly the same across AC coupled, single phase, or 3 phase hybrid. You could buy 100 of the battery modules and have them in your warehouse on the shelf. And as the different installs come up day after day, you could pick and pull depending how many you need for that day, and just take the power module along for that job. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and keeps your storage options nice and tight. We also have the wireless dongle that comes in the box with it, allowing your customers to connect to the internet and get you up and running. And we've also got the mobile dongle at a small additional charge with a 5-year data plan included. So if they're in a position where getting Wi-Fi is problematic, or if the signal is too weak to have the battery consistently stay up, the Wi-Fi dongle might be the avenue for you to head down. The EV charger is an AC car charger that's coming out next month, and will be available here in the second half of the year. It's a really clean, cool looking piece of kit, as you can see in that little picture there. It will be a piece of hardware that will appear in the same app as the battery. So you won't have to download additional apps to get the best charging experience for your car. And it will just give you a better picture of your whole energy makeup at home. And how you see that is through the app. So we do have the three different pieces of software that come alongside the Anker SOLIX X1 battery, and they are the end user app, something that we're all fairly familiar with at this point in time. A battery has an app, so you can actually get the data out of it. The Anker SOLIX Professional Commissioning app, so that's for your solar installers to be on the ground and commissioning those batteries in a speedy time, not having to wait around a long time at the end of the day. Get out, get home, and be happy with your install. And then you've got the Anker SOLIX Professional Portal, the O&M portal. So that's where, at the end of the day, after you've installed your dozens and dozens of Anker SOLIX X1s, you'll be able to see that fleet in the professional portal, and monitor their health and performance, and potentially, look at who could do with additional modules in the future. So all included there as part of what we're doing here in the Australian market. So just a couple of notes on the installation side of things for the AC coupled versus the hybrids. So with the AC coupled, currently with the 6 kilowatt, you need to purchase an additional meter for the grid side and for the PV side. With the 5 kilowatt that's coming, we will be including one there. The hybrid has one for the grid side, and if you're AC coupling the hybrids, you'll need to just grab an additional meter to be able to capture that information. Now, here's just a brief overview of the hybrid single phase data sheet. So it just gives you a quick glance at some of the vital statistics, and I can share these more detailed data sheets with anyone that would like. But it does highlight the 10-year warranty, the IP66 rating, and the different voltages and ranges that are available with that. And also with the 3-phase, the 5, 8, 10, and 12 kilowatt versions, IP66, 10 years again. Now, I think it's important to note as well, the weight of our heaviest power module is 30 kilograms. So getting it onto site and into the van or into the ute, and then down a potentially tricky driveway or down the side of a house, that 30 kilos is significantly lighter than our competition. It's going to enable you guys to have a 2-man team to do the install and to be able to get that on site safely and not put your teams at risk. Power module for the AC coupled. So again, 10 years IP66, and the AC coupled is actually only 20 kilos. I can pick it up with just the one hand and carry it down the driveway. I've done that. It's a really, really flexible module in terms of, again, getting it onto site safely and making sure your guys get home without any strains to their back or having to worry about getting up onto a wall. Battery modules themselves. So we've got a total battery storage capacity of 5 kilowatt hours per module. That's 5 kilowatt hours usable. And the C rating is actually 3 kilowatts. So it's higher than the majority of the competition. It's a 0.6 C rating, which is great. The weight of the battery modules, again, 50 kilos, 51 kilos. Very easy to get on site in comparison to the competition with a 10-year warranty. And here's just a brief look at at some of the case studies that we've been working on for the installs that have happened here in Australia so far already. So in this setup, there was an existing 10 kilowatt Huawei system. Challenge was that the battery could only be wall mounted. So this is a good look at what the wall mount system looks like, with the wall mount bracket there sitting above that vent in the side of the house. It was also, I physically went to this site, so I saw the install happening. And it was down the side of the house where space was limited because you can only get so close to the barrier, sorry, the sort of fence there. And being that ultra slim design, only 15 centimeters thick, gave the customer the confidence to install this battery and to not have anything encroach onto that usable space. We don't want to, have the battery installed and then suddenly you can't get your bins to the front of the street. Here's a great look at what a 25 kilowatt hour system would look like. So this is a hybrid system with 25 kilowatt hours of storage. And you can see how that one has been arranged in two towers. So you've got 15 kilowatts in the second tower there, and you've got 10 kilowatts in the first tower. They sit nice at the same height, really clean installed. That's a ground mount. So that's what the base plate looks like installed. And it just gives you a really clean and intrusive installation where all around you, you can see the mower just in the background there. It's not in any risk of the battery's not in any risk of blocking access to any of that stuff that you've got there. So there, we did remove the inverters that were there already. They were slightly older SMA models, and we looked to replace them with the hybrid system. Customers have been really, really happy with that outcome, and I think you can all agree that just looking at it is a far better product than what a lot of the competition has to offer. Here is a line diagram for those who are curious about how a parallel system would work in the three-phase model. Some notes there. The parallel three-phase is going to be available at the end of June this year, and the backups will occur each unit. So if you're looking to back up essential loads, you could set them up per system. But the entire system only needs one dongle, and that is set to the master system and enables you to have Wi-Fi across your entire fleet of X1 batteries. And in saying that, here's a quick look at how the hybrid parallel system for the single phase is going to work, which is going to be a little bit after the three-phase system. And again, if you've got looking to back up a whole home almost in sort of a single phase setup, you could set up two essential loads, 30 amp breakers, and have them running one into each battery. Again, you only need one dongle, reducing that cost and time for the install. And this system, you could have up to 60 kilowatt hours, which is 10 kilowatt hours over that federal rebate limit. But really nice, clean design, and keeps it all physically from spewing onto the property and taking up valuable space. So that was a brief rundown of AC coupled versus the hybrid systems, and that was today's session. Next week, we're going to go through what you're going to need for the install. So prepping you for the install, all the parts that you're going to need to get there, and having a look at that, getting to site and being ready to go from day one. Don't worry, you don't need to register again for next week. If you've registered for the first one or for this one, you'll get a reminder for next week's session. And please feel free to invite any colleagues that you feel might be interested or might stand to benefit from this series. If there are any topics that aren't discussed and you want a different session or some custom content, please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll arrange for the team to take a wider look at what it is that we can present for you. So I'll just stop sharing this and just have a look and see if there are any questions that we want to cover at this point in time. Doesn't look to be any questions. Does anyone want to fire one out? before we sign off for the day? Going once, going twice. Yep, it looks like we've got a question there. If you can just drop it in the chat.
Hey John, you can talk. I enabled your microphone.
Yes, so John's raised a really good question there. In terms of, and this is something we'll cover off a little bit more in detail next week at the prepping for install. But essentially, when you purchase the system, you do get the base plate for a single tower as part of that install. If you're looking to wall mount the system, you do the wall mounting bracket is the additional purchase. The base plate that you saw in that second picture, that second case study, that base plate is included with it. And if you're doing just on that note, if you're doing a second tower like we saw in that second case study, you do need to order a cover plate for that second tower just to keep it nice and clean and tidy. Any other questions before we wrap up today? No worries, guys. Well, look, really appreciate you all coming. Thank you again, and please feel free to pass this on to your colleagues. And looking forward to seeing all of you again next week. Thank you very much.